big, beautiful bill of Medicaid cuts. I'm for it because I'm an able-bodied American citizen right now. I'm headed to work. I work at least 40 hours a week. I'm good.
Wendy, the MAGA lady, puts out, I voted for President Numbnuts to piss off liberals. It was really funny. I'm now worried that I may lose my Medicaid now. I have type 2 diabetes and diabetic retinopathy. If I lose my health care, I won't be able to afford my meds and I will lose my vision. I'm in tears. Please help.
We don't want to hear shit when you lose your Medicaid. We don't want to hear shit when you lose your SNAP. We don't want to hear shit from those states when FEMA doesn't show up for your tornadoes, hurricanes, and floods this year. We don't want to hear shit when you figure out that those tax breaks are not for you, but they're for the rich. We don't want to hear shit when you figure out that no tax on tips and overtime ain't even real. We don't want to hear shit when you figure out that he is increasing the debt ceiling by trillions of dollars, which is going to cost us a lot. Because we try to tell you. So you're excited about this bill passing? Just remember when all that shit happens to you to not open your fucking mouth.
Did you guys see that woman talking about her father getting kicked out of the nursing home? Well, apparently the nursing homes are kicking out their Medicare patients. And she was like, why would they do that? And everyone in the comments was like, honey, this is what you voted for. This is Medicare cuts. This is the big, beautiful bill. And she was like, no, that's not it. Yes, it is. I work in skilled nursing. 90% of the residents that are in there, they are Medicare patients. These buildings stay open because of Medicare. They will close down. They will not care for your aging parents and grandparents for free. They will send them home to you. You will have to quit your job and stay home and take care of them. That means you're going to have to be the caregiver for your father, your husband, your kids. You're going to have to quit your job. You're going to do all this on half the income for your household. This economy is going to suffer greatly when these places start closing down.
Well, the big, beautiful bill just passed. Thank you, God. This country was getting way too fucking free.
Y'all are seriously falling for this? Like, seriously? You are being manipulated into not caring that people are losing health insurance. MAGA was taking heat for Medicaid cuts. So they quickly pivoted, flipped the script, and said, no, we're not cutting Medicaid. We're just kicking those undeserving and lazy people off of Medicaid. Your lack of understanding about the U.S. immigration system and healthcare system is being exploited, and MAGA is trying to convince you that some people deserve healthcare while others do not. Immigrants without full lawful status are already not eligible for federal Medicaid, and the only reason some states have expanded their state health insurance programs to include these folks is because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to insure people than to not insure them. And these immigrants, regardless of their documentation status, are contributing to our communities. They are building our economy. They are paying taxes. There is no amount of creative math that can be done that only kicks undocumented people off of Medicaid and gets us to $800 billion worth of cuts. It's not possible. On the moral front, everyone deserves health care. On the financial front, bad health care will always be more expensive than good health care. And no one can make an economic argument that kicking people off of health insurance is going to save us money, because it won't. It is going to cost all of us way more money in the long run.
So MAGA just admitted that they cheered the Medicaid cuts because they wanted to punish other people, but they never thought that there will come a time they will need help, and they only care when it's only affecting them personally, but they never cared when it was gonna hurt other people. So racism is very expensive, and they're learning it the hard way. So let's get to see more. Please like and hype the video, and let me know that's in the comments, alright? Let's get into it.
It's over. It passed. And this is what that means for so many Americans. Billions of dollars cut from Medicaid, which affects millions of Americans. The poorest of the poor people in this country are going to lose their health care, be unable to feed themselves, and this is what people wanted. And the richest people in this country will get a tax cut. So if you're not upset, then I'm confused. If this is what you want, I think you need to take a much deeper look at who you are and what you stand for, because this is devastating to so many people in this country. You were often one step away from needing assistance. One step.
Well, you just couldn't call, could you, Magus? You just couldn't help out a few thousand or million people who are going to go hungry and are going to live in the fucking streets. Thanks, MAGA. Thanks a whole hell of a lot. Because most of the goddamn people live in your fucking states.
So the Medicaid cuts are here, and if your loved one depends on home health care, you might want to listen up. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to tell you what I'm living right now, my fears of the future. My wife's been on Medicaid for about 3 years. She's only 52, but she's been sick for 18 plus years. She cannot be left alone. Medicaid is how I have an in-home health aid. It's the only way I can actually work or go to work. And now these rules are changing. These stricter eligibility checks. And there's some sort of a work requirement that I can't quite figure out yet. Some of the states are scrambling to decipher the code. I live in the state of Florida. I don't know yet if they've published their updates. But my worst case scenario is I lose in-home health aid. That's going to unravel things pretty quickly for me. I've already reached out to my caseworker. Now it's over the weekend because she's not going to answer right away, but that's the first thing I did is I reached out to her and I left her a voicemail. And I'm going to be very persistent with her until I hear back on what do they know and how are these cuts going to affect my personal case. If you're in the same shoes as me, I expect you to do the same thing. Whoever manages your Medicaid case through whatever program, you should reach out. Don't sleep on this. Don't wait for them to just tell you you lost everything. You need to be proactive. Let me know your thoughts. Please don't make this a political debate. Just let me know your thoughts on how this might affect you.
I'm getting bills in the mail nearly every single week. Here's another bill for $1,261. What's the description for? Actually, it doesn't even say.
But girl, let's clear a few things up. You supported your own demise. Again. You actively support an administration that passed things like the One Big Beautiful Bill, which made healthcare prices go up for millions of Americans, directly and indirectly. It just so happens to be affecting you now. Because this is part of a whole domino effect. When hospitals lose Medicaid funding, they only have a few choices. They can close, lay people off, or raise prices to make up for the funds they lost. It's also well documented that when hospitals close, surviving hospitals increase their prices because there's fewer options and less leverage for insurance providers to negotiate lower prices. And that's if they can get care at all. Riley, I know we're just talking about your problems, but consider that Trump's policies have created care deserts, so many expectant mothers are left without access to care at all. Fewer options for care, and it's more expensive. That's what this administration you support has accomplished so far.
Do you MAGA nurses, I can't believe that's a fucking demographic that exists, but do you MAGA nurses not realize that if these Medicaid cuts come through, you're gonna lose your job? Like, nursing homes and rural hospitals and mental health facilities, those places are going to shut down. You're not going to have a job. Like nursing, which has always been this safety net, like, oh, I can always find a job anywhere, it's going to completely ruin it. Like, I know you don't care about poor people or elderly or disabled, but have some fucking self-preservation. Your cult is so embarrassing.
I have a question for those who are celebrating the potential cuts to Medicaid, claiming that it's only removing people who are abusing the system. And well, that's not true. Let's assume it is. Why are you okay with people losing their access to health care? I mean, these are people who, clearly don't have a lot of money and otherwise don't have access to medical care. Why is that a cause for celebration? And why aren't we instead using our energy and resources to find a way to make sure that everybody who needs access to medical care gets it? I don't get this.
A lot of people cannot afford nursing homes. The whole point when you get old, basically, is to deplete your savings into long-term care. If you do not have somebody who can take care of you, if you don't have family you can live with and help them and they help take care of you, if you don't have those resources, you are in for a very rude awakening for what the long-term care system is like in this country. So yeah, if you can't afford $6,000 a month, doesn't mean you automatically get Medicaid. You don't qualify for Medicaid, and it varies state by state, but for the most part, if you have more than $2,000 or $3,000 in savings, you don't qualify. I mean, you have to be very, very poor to qualify for Medicaid. So what happens is you need to deplete your savings. You need to get rid of your assets. All of this stuff will go towards your long-term care. And then when you finally have gotten rid of all of it, you have nothing. Then you can get Medicaid. But Medicaid is what holds this whole system up. Because if you don't have any money and you need care, there will be no one to take care of you without Medicaid. It is instrumental. And if you have not had to care for somebody who is old and infirmed, and needs an extra level of care, or somebody who is very sick or needs specialized care, if you haven't had to navigate that world yet, look out, because it is so ugly. And the state of our healthcare in this country is terrible. And it is barely clinging on with Medicaid. Without Medicaid, it is going to collapse.
We are finally starting to see people realize, MAGA specifically, that they have been duped by Trump, especially after the big, beautiful bill was passed.
Bullshit bill. We voted for Trump because he promised us to cut taxes on tips, Social Security, and overtime. So they write this bill, it goes through the House, then it goes to the Senate, and then the Senate just chops it all up. And they say, oh yeah, we're gonna no tax on tips.
If you did not know, the big, beautiful bill was essentially an extension of Trump's tax cuts from his first term that Biden essentially kept during his term. So if you felt like taxes were high, it's because of Trump. Now we're paying a tariff when we buy goods. A tariff is a tax. I'm calling it a federal sales tax. The Republicans only care about their rich friends. They do not care about you. The Democrats are not much better, but at least they're not evil. Congratulations on paying the same and getting less.
I think MAGA don't realize that healthcare is not an issue of one group of Americans. Medicaid supports children, seniors in nursing homes, people with disabilities, veterans, pregnant women, and low-income earners. Many rural hospitals, they also depend on Medicaid funding to keep their doors open. So when funding is reduced, the entire communities suffers. They experience fewer healthcare services and they travel long hours for emergency care. But the problem with MAGA is that they voted to hurt other people, but not voting for policies supposed to help them. You see, they vote out of hatred and who is going to suffer. But after the elections, the reality of those policies, they affect everybody, whether someone voted Republican or even Democrat, you know. Everybody experienced rising healthcare costs, job losses in the healthcare sector, and hospitals closure. And many working class Americans, regardless of race or even political affiliation, they face similar concern, you know. They all want affordable healthcare, stable jobs, safe neighborhoods, quality schools, and opportunities for their families. So that's why people should support policies that are meant to help them rather than who is going to be affected. You should examine policies carefully, not just cheering and celebrating campaign slogans without understanding the details of the policies and how they are going to affect everybody. Elections have consequences, and every vote helps shape decisions about healthcare, education, infrastructure, taxes, and public service, you see? And the consequences of those decisions can affect families for years or even decades after the campaign ends. So I hope this is going to be a lesson for MAGA that they should not vote based on hatred, racism, and revenge, and vote for policies that will actually improve everybody's life. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one, I'll see you in the next video.